Science is an organized way of gathering information and analyzing evidence about the natural world. Observation involves the act of noticing and describing events or processes in a careful, orderly natural world. A hypothesis is a scientific explanation for a set of observations that can be tested in ways that support or reject it. Testing a hypothesis often involves designing an experiment. Whenever possible, a hypothesis should be tested by a controlled experiment, an experiment in which only one variable is changed. The variable that can change in response to the independent variable is called dependent variable or responding variable. The control group is exposed to the same conditions as the experimental group except for one independent variable. Collecting, recollecting, and analyzing data or information gathered during the experiment. Drawing conclusions based on data in science. The word theory in science applies to a well-tested explanation that unifies a broad range of observations and hypotheses and that enables scientists to make accurate predictions about new situations. Scientists strive to be objective, but when science is applied in society, it can be affected by a bias, a point of view that is personal rather than scientific. Biology is the study of life. Ecology is the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms and their environment. Earth organisms live in the biosphere, an assemblage of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area is called a population. An assemblage of different populations that live together in an area is referred to as a community. An ecosystem includes all the organisms that live in a particular place. Together with their physical environment, a biotic factor is any living thing of an environment, and a biotic factor is any non-living part of an environment. Sunlight is the main energy source for life on Earth. Organisms that can capture energy from sunlight or chemicals and use that energy to produce food are called primary producers. Organisms that rely on other organisms for their energy and food are called heterotrophs. Herbivores, such as cows, obtain energy from eating only plants. Carnivores, like snakes, eat only animals. Omnivores, like humans, eat both plants and animals. Detritivores, such as earthworms, feed on dead matter. Scavengers, such as vultures, consume the carcasses of other animals. A food chain is a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. A food web is a network of all the food chains in an ecosystem. The chemical substances that an organism needs to survive are called nutrients. Weather is a condition of Earth's atmosphere at a particular time and place. Climate is the average condition of temperature and precipitation in a region over long periods. Climate can vary over short distances. These variations produce microclimates. Temperature on Earth stays within a range suitable for life due to the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is the trapping of heat by gases in the atmosphere. Every species has its own tolerance or a range of conditions under which it can grow and reproduce. A species' tolerance determines its habitat, the place where it lives. Predation occurs when an organism captures and eats another. Herbivory is an interaction that occurs when an animal feeds on producers. Symbiosis occurs when two species live closely together in one of three ways. Mutualism, both species benefit from the relationship. Parasitism, one species benefits by living in or on the other and the other is harmed. Commensalism, one species benefits and the other is neither helped nor harmed. The series of predictable changes that occurs in a community over time is called ecological succession. Primary succession begins in an area with no remnants of an older community. Secondary succession occurs when a disturbance changes a community without completely destroying it. The photic zone is the sunlight upper layer of water where the photosynthesis can occur. The aphotic zone is the dark lower part where photosynthesis cannot occur. Estuaries are wetlands formed where rivers met seas. Freshwater ecosystems include flowing water ecosystems, standing water ecosystem, and freshwater wetlands. Soil erosion is the way or the wearing away of surface soil by water and wind. In dry climates, Farming and overgrazing change farmlands into deserts, a process called desertification. Deforestation is loss of forest. A pollutant is a harmful material that can enter the biosphere. Smog is a mixture of chemicals formed from emissions from cars and industry. The sum of all the genetic diversity among all the organisms in the biosphere is called the biodiversity. Ecosystem diversity is the variety of habitats, communities, and ecological processes in the biosphere. Species diversity is the number of different species in an area or in the biosphere. Genetic diversity is the total of all genetic information carried in living things.